Hey guys. Okay, back again. All right. So I don't know what is going on with my Wi-Fi tonight, but it's acting a little wackadoodle. So if this is like fuzzy or you can't hear me or something like that, just let me know because I don't know. It keeps saying the connection is a little bit weak, but all right. So I know I'm a day late for this, but I still want to get this message out there. And I want to talk about surviving Mercury retrograde. Okay? I know that this can be a time where people get really freaked out, they're afraid to do anything, but this time does not have to be like that. And even earlier, I was like, oh, my Wi-Fi is probably acting a little kooky because of Mercury retrograde, which I don't know, could be true, but you don't have to have this time be a really crazy time, okay? So Mercury went into retrograde December 19th, 2016, and it will be in retrograde until January 8th of 2017, okay? So a couple weeks here that we have. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication and clear thinking, technology, travels, things like that. So the whole idea of a planet going retrograde, it has to do with its orbit. And the planet gives the impression that is moving backwards. The planet isn't actually moving backwards, but it gives the impression that it is moving backwards, and therefore, things can be going backwards. Things can be acting a little wackadoodle, during this time. But you can use this time as a positive time. Now, I think one of the biggest things that you hear during Mercury retrograde is that you can't, make any big decisions, buying a house, a car, signing a lot of contracts, going on travels, things like that. Make sure your car has an oil change done before, things like this. And, people have a lot of communication issues where they're fighting a lot with people and all this stuff. So those are things that you want to look out for, that people really fear during these times. But I'm here to tell you that, your life does not have to come to a screeching halt because Mercury is in retrograde, okay? So if you're worried about these things, I wouldn't say that you have to completely put your entire life on pause and not make any decisions or any commitments whatsoever. But I would encourage you just to make sure that all of your T's are crossed, all of your I's are dotted, all this, stuff. Make sure you read contracts over very carefully, things like that. So I do not believe in, that you can't do anything during this time. And what some people don't realize is that, the day that Mercury actually goes into retrograde, which was yesterday, this energy is already in effect for probably like a week ahead of time. So if things have been acting a little weird, that could be why, if you weren't aware of it and looking out for these things. But you've already been feeling the energy for longer than you think. So, we're going to use this time to, learn what you can do in a positive way to chill out a little bit during Mercury retrograde. Okay? So, the positive things about this time are that you want to use Mercury retrograde as a time to revisit things. Okay? This is a time for renewal and replenishing, reawakening, and to regrow things that you have already started. Okay, so this time is a fabulous time to complete projects that you've already started. This is where it comes into not like starting anything new. You want to review what you've already started and try to finish those things. Okay. That's really what this time is all about. So you might, come up and see things that are, a lot of things that are coming up from your past. People might contact you from your past. might have a lot of emotions coming up from past situations, but this is a good time to take some personal reflection and review the things that you want to change in a positive way in your life, okay? So that is like the biggest thing that I can say during this time, okay? That you really want to make sure that your communication is in check. And this does not just have to do with communication with other people, okay? But if you do find yourself, having some tension around certain people, arguing with people, just kind of notice that about this time, and use it to, take a step back, review the situation, and try to take a different approach. The same thing about technology and travel. I am in no way saying that you should not take any trips, or you shouldn't, like, buy any technology, or or if things are really not going well, things are breaking, your computer, your whatever, your phone, I'm not saying that it absolutely has to do with that, but just to be aware that that is the energy that's being put out. But just going back, especially with the communication piece, this does not just have to do with communication with other people. This has to do with communication of yourself as well. So I really encourage you during this time to take some time for personal reflection and go back and review the things that you want to regrow and renew in your life, and what positive things that you want to change. Were you starting to work on, breaking a specific habit and you kind of got off of it? This is a time to look at that, reevaluate, look at all these words that I'm using, renew, reevaluate, review, regrow, replenish, all of these things. You want to go back and see what it is that you want to continue to work on. What have you already started that you can finish? What have you already started that you can follow through with? Okay? That is really what this time is about. Okay? So try your best to not look at this as an, oh my God, everything's going to be falling apart. Mercury's in retrograde. I'm not going to be able to do anything. That's why all these bad things are happening. Don't send out that energy. Okay? This kind of goes back to the same thing that I talk about with the full moon. The full moon is a really, really strong energy, and whatever you're giving out, that's what you're going to be getting back, and it's going to be amplified because of that energy. Okay? This is the same idea. Don't give out thoughts and feelings that everything is going to be, havoc is going to be, every day just because Mercury's in retrograde. It doesn't need to be like that. Use this as a time to figure out what you want to follow through with, what you haven't followed through with, what you want to, bring back into your life that was something positive that you got away from. Okay? This is a time for review of what you can do in a more positive way. Okay? So a couple things that I want to show you guys, okay, for those of you that are crystal lovers, okay? So crystals that you can use during this time. One is fluorite. I'll show you this piece right here. It's a beautiful piece of fluorite. Okay. I got this piece from Megan. She's on Facebook, on Peace on Earth Rocks, okay? I got these two little pieces from her as well. But fluorite is great for focus, mental clarity, okay? So if you're having problems with communication and things like that, I would, or even keeping yourself focused on things, I would highly suggest this. Here's two smaller pieces that I have. Okay? So fluorite, great for focus and mental clarity. All right? A couple others that I think are fabulous for this time are blue lace agate and aquamarine. And the reason that I think these two are really fabulous is because they're both for the throat chakra. Throat chakra has to do with communication, once again, both to yourself and to other people, okay? So this is going to help with, relationships, communication in relationships, and communication with yourself, the self-talk that you have. Okay, so here's this piece of aquamarine. Oops, sorry. piece of aquamarine. This is a raw piece. And this is a bigger tumbled piece. Okay. And then this is a piece of blue lace agate. Kind of looks purpley in that light, but okay. So those are just a couple crystals. Once again, aquamarine, blue lace agate, and fluorite. Okay. And the aquamarine and the blue lace agate are very calming stones. So if you're feeling any anxiety during this time, you know, those are great stones to keep just for anxiety and, you know, bring peace and tranquility to yourself along with the communication piece. Okay. And the fluorite, once again, for mental clarity and focus on what you're doing. Okay. All right, guys. So please, please, please try your best to, you know, notice what kind of energy you're giving out during this time. Are you giving out that anxious, oh my God, how am I going to get through this? There's another, you know, it's back around again. These weeks, they're just going to be crazy. Everything's going to be breaking down. I'm going to be late for everything. You know, I'm going to be having all these fights with people. Notice if you're telling yourself that, okay? Because keep in mind, whatever energy you're giving out, that's what you're going to be getting back. So if that's the only thing that you think you're going to be getting out of Mercury retrograde, that's probably what's going to be true for you. Because the more emotion that you're putting out behind that, that's what you're going to be getting back, okay? So change your thinking. If that's the only thing that you think of during this time, try your best to change your thinking and to use this as a time to, you know, review what you want in a positive way of your, you know, in your life, what you want to renew, what you want to regrow and replenish, what you know, want to, you know, reawaken in your life. Okay. So I encourage you to do that. Please, please, please let me know how this has been going for you. If you guys have any other questions about anything, okay? And just remember, Mercury retrograde does not have to be a negative time, okay? It's a time for renewing and finishing up things, coming back to things that we've already started, finishing things that we've already started, okay? Reviewing things from our past and seeing how we can make them more positive during this time. Okay, so I hope you find this well, and I hope this helps you. Please let me know in the comments if you have any more questions. I'd be more than happy to answer them, okay? And, you know, if you guys are interested in, you know, bringing your spiritual enlightenment to a higher place, I have a 12-week spiritual development program. If you're interested in that or you want more information on that, you can PM me at The Spiritual Safe House on Facebook, or you can check out my website at thespiritualsafehouse.com, okay? And we really, you know, during that program, we really dive into, you know, your spiritual journey and what we can do to get you to the place of spiritual enlightenment where you want to be. Okay, guys? So thank you so much. Keep a positive attitude during this time and let me know how things have been going for you. Okay? Talk to you next time. Bye.